Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. Today is Friday, December 13th. Hopefully, it's not an unlucky Friday the 13th. Instead, I think we can cover some really important information today. And it's referring to, as my screen is shared here, as the five E's. Now, we've talked quite a few times about the three C's: credit, collateral, and capacity. And those are some universal truths about becoming fundable. But today we're going to talk about the five E's. And I don't think it's a universal truth. In other words, it's not true in every case, but most of our top producers use the 5E process. Now, we teach this at our in-person training. So I'm not here trying to get you to take time away from work or family, but I think you know by now we do in-person one-day trainings. And the trainings are available for those of you that are running Shelf Corp stores, our distribution model that we've talked about before. If that's not familiar, for instance, we have Mr. Stockton. Mr. Stockton, welcome. You haven't been on the trainings recently, so you can always go to our YouTube channel and get caught up on what a Shelf Corp store is all about. But today I want to go through some best practices, and it's using the five E's. So let's go ahead and get started. At any time, if you have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to type those into the Q&A box. It's like a chat box, and we'll address those. So the five E's. The first E is to educate. And so we've talked about we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We've received actually multiple grants. We serve a dual mandate. Number one, improving the financial literacy of small business owners. And secondly, as well as increasing access to capital. And then our second mandate is to work with community leaders like you to accomplish more of the first. So, consistent with our mission, consistent with our vision, consistent with what we do, education is key. But I'm going to give you a bigger reason, a deeper reason, a more important reason, two important reasons why you want to use education. So first the what. You might say, well, how do we educate prospects? Well, any of you that have come to our in-person training, you now have the materials for what we call the 27 mistakes. So the 27 mistakes highlights what typically keeps small business owners from getting funded. So it's not a sales presentation. It's not saying buy, buy, buy. It's just simply saying, here's what keeps most small businesses from getting funded. Because you're smart. You've got Charles, you got Claude, you got Craig, Erica. I mean, we've got some hyper intelligent, experienced people on today. But the average person does not know these 27 mistakes. The average person wants money, needs money to start or grow a business, but they often don't know what it takes. So the first reason that we should use education as the first E is because it's the right thing to do. You have knowledge, you have expertise, they have ignorance, they have financial illiteracy, and by you transferring some of your knowledge to them, they're going to be better off. Second is from a perspective of expectations. Have you ever had a client that said, well, I wish I would have known that. No one told me that beforehand. Well, we don't want that to happen. So our distribution partners that are using the 27 mistakes, we tend to avoid clients having some point in time later where they say, well, no one told me about that, or I didn't know about that. So this is properly preparing clients for a capital raise because, again, similar to the first point, I know you're smart, I know you're experienced, I know you're successful, but frankly, we work with a lot of people that don't have your background, that don't have your knowledge, that don't have your intelligence even. So it's managing expectations. The third and final reason that I think that you should use education is it's the best way to make sales. And we'll get down here to the bottom E, which we're not to yet, of course. But if you create a good pipeline of people to educate, you'll never have to worry about making lots of money. Because once we've educated them, if you follow the process, 8 or 9 out of 10 that you educate are going to enroll. So we don't need to worry about, oh, I wonder who my clients are going to be this month. I wonder who's going to buy a Shelf Corp for me. You don't need to worry about that. Focus on who you're going to educate. Now, when we talk about education, this is not just Bill and Susie, the local entrepreneurs. These are key influencers. These are the bankers, the CPAs, the executive of the Chamber of Commerce. I tell you, and I promise you, if you set up a Shelf Corp store and we start setting up these workshops on a regular basis in your store, you will draw key influencers. You will teach them things that they don't know. They'll become impressed and they'll become your biggest advocates. They'll be referring to you. Some of you say, well, I've got to go buy some leads. Anytime I hear that, that means that you're not plugged in the community, because what we do, you and I, what we do is so important in improving financial literacy and increasing access to capital. You shouldn't ever have to buy leads if you're visible in the community and you're educating. So let me pause there on the first E. And I know I hit a lot with you here in the first 5 minutes of the Zoom. Any questions on the importance of the first E, educate? Yeah, Donald's asking, yeah. So we provide you the PowerPoint. We'll even come out and help you teach it the first time at your Shelf Corp store, whatever it takes to help you be successful. But we need to get you, it's what we call certification. We need to get you certified. You want to let us know if you want to own a Shelf Corp store. If so, there's a process over here, and then we'll have you in for the in-person training, which is referenced number 3 over here. Okay, are we all good on the education? So it's important because we should be sharing our knowledge with others. Secondly, it's going to help manage expectations so they don't come back and say, oh, I didn't know that. And then thirdly, it is going to be your most effective way of making money, because if you educate them, follow the process, many will enroll. Okay, good. Second E, and this one may be less popular, but I believe it. Your prospects are going to look to you. They're going to look to you and say, are you believable? And so certainly we can teach you and tell you, but that's why we want you to go through and have a Shelf Corp yourself, regardless if you want to own a store. Because by having the Shelf Corp, you're going to receive the benefits. What are the benefits? The business plan, the financial forecast, the entity, the $100,000 of AR, minimum of $100,000 of funding. You're going to have a fundable business. People are going to want to see, many people will want to see evidence that you're walking the walk or that you've walked it. So that's why our process is set up this way. So the last thing we want to do is go out and start talking about why credit's important and how the Shelf Corp provides free credit assistance if we have shitty credit. That's inconsistent. You should have great credit. We don't want to be talking about, oh, how you can use your company credit to go buy a company car under your EIN if you're driving a 78 Nova with rust on the quarter panels. You know, we want to be walking the walk. So it's not about bragging. It's not about showing off. But, you know, you should have a strong credit score. And if you go through the Shelf Corp program, you will have a high credit score. You should have a company car, in our opinion. You don't have to, but you will be able to afford one and have one if you follow the process. So evidence, I think, is important. And because the process works, I've gone through it. I'm happy to share with you my credit score, and I'll pull it up here. Not that it's anything impressive, but I'll go to my Experian.com, do the face recognition, and we'll see what it is this morning. It's populating here. It's thinking. It is a 740. So yes, I've walked the walk. I followed the process. Is 740 impressive? No, it's not impressive, but it's credible. Have I gone through the process and bought a company car? Absolutely. I drove my Porsche 911 Carrera T to the office this morning. It's in the company name. It's not in my name. Have we bought company real estate? Absolutely. I'm in my company real estate right now, and we're getting ready to buy another. So again, it's not about bragging. You should be able to do the same thing, and we want to help you do the same thing so you seem credible. You have evidence that the process works. I don't think anyone could really dispute the process. Oh, it doesn't make sense. But people want to see the outcome of the process. You need to be the evidence. Any questions on evidence? Okay, and that's again why we ask people that want to own a Shelf Corp store to go through the Shelf Corp process so you have a personal testimony. Great. That's why you probably hear in my voice such commitment, such confidence, such persistence, because I know these processes work. Frankly, most of which I was taught when I worked at the SBA, but now we've tweaked those, and now we invite you to be a Shelf Corp store owner so you can monetize. Okay, let's move on to the third E. So assuming that you set up a store, we have a physical storefront, we're inviting people in to educate. Could you do it online? Sure, but you're not going to have the same results. So we should be educating in person. If you want to do in person and online, that's okay, but you're going to cannibalize. You want people to come into your store, meet you, have a Diet Coke or a iced tea with you, cup of coffee, a bottle of water. Get them into your store, meet them face to face. We want to have evidence that you have followed the process. And then third, we want to evaluate the clients, or I should say the prospects. So after they've gone through and they've learned the 27 mistakes, we want to determine, well, do they have a fundable business? Because it's, think about the last time you went to the doctor and you had a cholesterol test. You may not really look forward to it, but it tells the truth. Where are you, and do you need to make some changes, or should you make some changes for your well-being? Well, when you go in and evaluate the client's fundability, which we're going to teach you at the in-person training, they're going to come back with a quantifiable score. So it's objective, it's a consultative approach, it's not sales. And so then it's going to be clear to the client how fundable are they, which is piggybacked off this education. So it's all consistent. And that's where they're going to come to the conclusion of, oh goodness, I need to do something. So now you're at the right spot at the right time, right? You've educated them, you've built trust, you've built a relationship, you've illustrated objectively in a non-sales oriented fashion that the prospect is not fundable, which they may be, but most are not. Therefore, what are we going to do? We're going to enroll them. We're going to enroll them in a Shelf Corp, right? That's our primary program, our primary service. It's valuable. Our point today is not to go through the highlights, the value proposition. If you're not familiar with that, then go down to our YouTube channel from prior trainings. But you want to enroll people. Some of you surprise me. Some of you are knocking it out of the park, which is great. But some of you don't sell anything to anyone. And it's like, are you really an entrepreneur? Right? Because that's what entrepreneurs do. We solve problems and we make shitloads of money by solving other people's problems. So please don't forget E number 4, because if you're not enrolling, you're probably going to go broke. You're better off to go drive Uber or Lyft or deliver food with DoorDash if you're not going to implement. And then the end result is earning income. It's not get rich quick. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not a scam. There's no, it's highlighted in yellow. There's no cost to become a Shelf Corp store, but it is a way to take knowledge and resources to help people and help yourself and to help your family. And I believe you deserve to earn an adult income. So with that being said, we're going to open it up for questions, comments, concerns. In terms of support, always encourage you to give Madison a call. She'll do the best she can to answer the incoming calls live, but we get lots of calls, so she may have to call you back. If you've missed any of the past trainings, especially regarding how does the Shelf Corp model work or the store, you can catch it on YouTube. If you might say, well, this all sounds great, man. I'm passionate about helping people and I'd like to make some extra money, but I don't know about operating a store and educating. It just seems like too much for me right now. Then be an affiliate. Cost you nothing. You can go over to 509pacific.org, go to the affiliate page and get signed up. So that's perfectly fine. Affiliates have a real simple role, and I guess we could even put a little note in. So let's do this. So if this is the process that we teach for our Shelf Corp store owners, you might ask, well, what's the process for affiliates? It's crazy simple. So let's go ahead and put it down here. Affiliate process. Number 1, introduce. Don't teach, don't sell, don't describe in any detail, just introduce, refer to your landing page, get paid. So yeah, the affiliate process cuts a lot out. Do you go educate? No, we don't want affiliates educating because affiliates are not closers. Our store owners are the closers, the enrollment. So we can put that in parentheses. Close the deal. I guess we'll put that, close the deal. So you got to understand, if you're just an affiliate, it's not like you're not important or not smart, none of that. But if you're an affiliate, you're introducing, because you have to create some awareness. You're going to say the fewest words possible, get them to fill out the 4 fields on your landing page: first name, last name, email, phone number. And then we're going to get those leads out to our Shelf Corp store owners so they can take them through this process. The Shelf Corp store owners are trained to close the deals, and then we'll make sure that you get paid. Affiliates get paid a real simple $1,000 per conversion. So it's still good income. I mean, I don't think you'll find many affiliate programs that pay more than $1,000. Now, of course, if you're running a Shelf Corp store, you're controlling your own income, and it's obviously much more than that. All right, so let's go into any questions, comments, concerns. Craig has one, and it says, if you have a client with more than one owner looking to purchase the Shelf Corp, and I'll pause there for a moment. So it's fine for businesses to have multiple owners. That's very common. It could be husband and wife, could be brother and brother, could be just business partners that are not family relationships. Very common, not a problem. We're going to be working with the primary, what we'll call the primary contact person. And usually that's the lead, quote unquote, owner. But Craig's question is, since with the resources that come with the purchase of a Shelf Corp, which includes free credit assistance, that is for one person. And that's Craig's question of, well, what if there's 2 owners and they both want credit assistance? Well, in that case, Craig, one would get it free through their Shelf Corp that they buy from you, and then you could sell the other one the credit and funding program. If that doesn't resonate with any of you, like again, Mr. Stockton, who's been gone a while, go to our YouTube channel and you'll see that we've had some recent trainings on the credit and funding program. Make sense, Craig? Because primarily the Shelf Corp is focused on building a fundable business, and it does a great job of that. And we guarantee that it works. We do realize that a lot of entrepreneurs have a little bumpy road and their credit may be imperfect. So we built that in to help them, but it's not built in to help multiple owners. It's built in to help one owner. Just because we got to pay the law firm to do the work and we've only budgeted allocated for one. All right, Byron says he's waiting for Madison, and that's fine. And you can always give Madison a follow-up call if somehow you slip through the cracks. We have, and I'm not talking about Byron, but we have some distribution partners. They'll call in, they'll leave a message, and we'll call back. They either don't have voicemail set up or their voicemail's full. And so, I mean, that's not a good way to run a business. So I encourage you all to consider the basics, have a phone number that works. I even have some active referral partners, mainly affiliates. And if I call them, they don't answer the phone or they screen their calls or again, their voicemail's full. It's like, I'm not sure that you're really ready to run a sales organization if you're so hard to contact, but you do you. Okay, so who else has questions on the 5 E's? All right, so Benny's asking about coming to the training. So yes, so the training is specific for our Shelf Corp store owners. It's not general training. Our general training we have each morning. You're on it right now or you're listening to a recording maybe thereafter. But our focus going forward in 2025 is to have brick and mortar stores across the country, 1 per county. So there'll be geographic exclusivity, which is the second bullet here. So it's not a franchise. We're not telling you how to run your business. We're not selling you some territory, but we want to have a national footprint so we can not only accomplish our first mandate of improving financial literacy, but doing it face to face. And I know that we live in the age of technology, and why should we bother to get together? But I think in just some cases, we're going to be more successful. We're going to create more of a relationship, will be more effective if we have a Shelf Corp store in each community and get people in face to face. Now, we have some individuals that can't travel. We have Billy, who's not on the call. He's in Collin County, Texas. He can't travel. He can't travel. So he's getting ready to buy a Shelf Corp store. So we're going to have to live stream it or something for him. So that can happen. But in general, we want to spend some time with you. And then after the in-person training, if you need help of us coming out and helping you teach the first couple of workshops, absolutely, we're committed to your success. It shouldn't be that difficult, but even if you need us to come out and do it, we can. All right, financing for the Shelf Corp. Okay, great. So selling a Shelf Corp, first of all, you pick the price. You pick the price if you're a Shelf Corp store owner. So you can't tell me it's too expensive. You can't tell me it's too cheap because you pick the price. Now, normally, well, I shouldn't say normally, often what happens is the client will pay $1,000 down and then we'll finance the rest. So I think Craig's new question here is, well, what happens if the client pays $1,000 down and then they can't get financing for the rest? Uh-oh, we've got a problem. Well, that's true. And we won't know that until we take them through the process. However, as a Shelf Corp store, what you need to be aware of is that you're going to be set up, and we covered this yesterday, by the way, Craig. You're going to be set up on our new, which is going live in January, direct to merchant financing. So even before the client signs a contract with you, with your store, you'll be able to run their credit and make sure that they can get approved for it even before. And with the direct to merchant financing, Craig, that money will come directly to you in 2 business days. So I don't think that'll be a problem going forward if you're running a Shelf Corp store, because again, we'll have you set up on the direct to merchant financing. You'll have the interface. You'll be able to submit your client's app, and you'll get near instant approval, and then you'll get the funding directly to you in 2 days. Now, in the other case, though, if someone has paid $1,000 and they don't get approved, then normally what we would do, Craig, is drop them into the credit and funding program, which again we've talked about the last couple of days, and that way we can get their credit up and their income documented properly so they will qualify. So no one will be left behind. No one will be left behind. All right, well, we try to keep it a little bit shorter on Fridays. Hopefully this was helpful in covering the 5 E's. It's really not meant to be a teaser, but we can only accomplish so much in these little 30 or 25-minute blocks in the morning. It's good to keep everything fresh, but we do encourage you to come into the face-to-face training to have a deeper understanding and have all the tools and resources. All right, well, thanks everyone. We'll see you back Monday morning. Again, if you need anything, give Madison a call, 903-352-3390, and we'll see you Monday morning. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.